Let's try that again. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Morgfair.com RP rule video. I'd like to welcome you all. Obviously the last one was a little bit more, probably not as thought out as I thought. But anyway, without further ado, we'll move on to the next thing of rules and things that to be considerate of while on the RP's server and when building as well. And I'd like to focus your attention to this. There we go. We are now back up online. Now, we're just sitting here hovering on our bird, just kind of having a general look. Now, you can see below. We're near the coast. Obviously, we're doing our thing. Obviously, you've got the metal island over there in the corner. We're going to go over there and we're going to show another example of being a little bit of a considerate when it comes to the nodes in terms of the things like this. Now, as you can focus your attention on these lovely, well, what you would call a bridge made of boats. This is not a considered thing of being helpful in any way, shape or form. This is actually quite off-putting and quite what's the word I'm looking for? Very frustrating when it comes to people who use boats on the server. Now, we are on one of the main rivers that leads into the island, which you can get a boat down. If people are to build a bridge or anything like that, we would ask that you do not do this. If you are to do this, please make sure that these kind of rafts are unclaimed so that any person can then claim one and that can be used. This is a prime example of how not to do something helpful. In fact, this does more harm than good. For one, it blocks off the waterway, even though they didn't go the whole way across. Still, it's still annoying, regardless of the fact. So please, if you're going to do this, do not do this. If you are going to be helpful or be doing anything that will benefit, do something like this, such as I have done myself. I have done 2 of these already of different sizes, and even then they are to benefit people on the server. Now you can see I have built a bridge with an elevated section with a big enough gap for the raft to get through. It doesn't matter how tall the bridge is or how long it is. If you are to build it, please build it properly. Please consider other players who will use the waterways in terms of actually getting into the island or the inner island. Mind you that I probably personally will build most of these bridges across the map so that way people can then still access and still also get across the water safely without dying from piranhas or megalodons or anything like that. So please just be considerate when doing these and making sure that, as you can see in the middle there, that there is a big enough gap for the raft to get through. All it is required is the raft size, so meaning that gap that's in there, that it fits this raft of the width of it. So you can see how wide that is. Make sure the bridge can fit that. That's all we will ask if you do make one, because we do not want to block the waterways off. We do not want to have people moaning, that kind of thing, saying, oh, I can't use the waterway, it's not helpful in any way, it's having to make me go around the longer ways, which I don't want to go down the longer ways. Totally understandable. So please be considerate when doing something. I'd like to also hit on another topic of nodes, i.e. metal nodes, obsidian and crystal. 3 of the resources that are quite abundant, but also can be quite hard to obtain on some of the mountains, especially if you haven't got a bird. Now, we'll take this island as an example. I mean, the chap who built on this is a nice enough chap, but obviously probably didn't realise about the walls actually being as damaging as they are. Now, as we get closer, this island produces over about between 15 to 1800 metal a time. We would like to keep this island as a community island so that anyone can come to this island and mine all the metal. Now you can see there's 2 metal deposits there just on the corner, and you can see the structures in the middle there, and you see all the walls going around the outside. The walls that are on the top of this ridge please do not build these walls. These walls are maybe good for stopping the Brontos and other animals from falling into the actual middle and getting stuck in the base, but please do not build them. They are not helpful in any way. They are quite restrictive when it comes to the nodes. Now this island, I know, has a load of rock and trees and things like that, and as you can see, this island seems to be very bare in terms of plant life, of trees in fact. That is because the walls that he's built around this structure is prohibiting them from coming back into play because it has a boundary box. Those two metal deposits you see on that side are there. Now there should be another one about right about there, just above that bird's head. Should be another one about there, maybe possibly two, with a load of rocks and trees. And then, and obviously, when we get a bit closer, you can see there's quite a few rocks missing. Quite a few rocks, purely because of these walls. And then when we get a bit closer, you see there's two metal deposits there, when in fact there should be at least another 2 or 3 more rocks as well as metal deposits. They're supposed to be there. They're not coming back. For some reason these ones are, but it's all down to this outer wall. I can't stress enough that we don't want resources disappearing so that others can't use it or mine them. So please bear in mind with this island, if you are to build here, do not build these walls. As much as you want to keep animals out, please just don't. If anything, make this structure that's in it taller than what it is of those. So the double wall high that you see on around the ridge, make your building 2 or 3 walls, 4 walls if need be, higher than that. And if need be, make the like the rooftop expand from one side of the open to the other and to the back. If need be, fill it up completely so it's a rooftop, so the animals could just literally walk over the top of it and not be prohibited by falling into it. Might not look ideal, might not look aesthetically pleasing, but at the end of the day we would rather make sure that the nodes, i.e. the metal, is to reappear so that it can be used, so that someone could come along like myself or any other player could then harvest the entire island in one hit if they wish, as long as they got the means, of course. Now in terms of any other building that's here, it's the same thing. You can build, that's no problem. Yeah, you can use all the resource because this is the island that you're on. Makes total sense, but you still got to allow for the trees to grow back as well as the rocks and everything. You know, just be considerate. Just be a bit considerate. I mean, the guy who's there, he's a lovely chap. I mean, obviously he probably didn't realise it would do that. So, but it's still all fine, nevertheless. Let me see now. Right, we're gonna now fly over to one of the towns that I've pre-made. That is probably going to be in season 3. But it'd be also a prime example of a town that you would expect to see inside of the actual map of when a player starts. Now it can vary from...
Ooh.
Oh!
Are you there? Maybe not.
Who's there? Maybe not. Maybe not. Who's that? I don't know who it is. Who's? Oh, it's Morg. All right. Oh, sorry, Morg. I'm actually just recording a video at the moment. And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you Miss Morg herself, has just popped into the lovely chat. While doing a video, like I reiterated on the other video, ladies and gents, it's better to text before you actually just call them. But nevertheless, the lady herself is here. I'm just currently doing a video on things like the nodes and also bridges, things like that. You know, just explaining things to people, and also in terms of towns, you know, that kind of thing. Really, just like the general rules of the server. And that will make it a little bit more simpler, so that if anyone hasn't read the rules, they can see the rules in effect of what we're talking about, and then there's no misunderstanding as a whole. I assume that would be to your liking.
Yes.
Ah, good.
It's amazing. Very needed.
Oh, it is very needed, yes. I mean, I've not seen many places that actually have those type rules, as far as I'm concerned, so I thought, why not do them, get them done, you know. Makes it easy. But the first one's should be already up on YouTube. And by the way, guys, all videos that I'm doing for the rules are going to be for YouTube, so that way they will be there. And then, obviously, as long as they don't mute it, if they do, we will make sure that they are audible so you can hear them. So just to bear that in mind. Let me see. What else would there be in terms of any other rules that we need to cover? Because I've covered in terms of sleeping rules, also the town rules, also animal passiveness, turrets I've also gone over as well, by the way, in terms of the Plant X and miniguns of being on low settings. And also for being, if it depending on what the area is, if it's a swamp, then you might want it on all animals, and if it's for humans and tames only, to be set to accordance, as well as also keeping it on low, so that way it gives them a chance to walk past the property depending on where they are. Correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Good. Let me see what else. Well, at the moment we're just currently flying to the lovely town to go and give you an example for everybody to see and what's what. Obviously having to use, unfortunately, a bird that I have had in storage for quite a long time, which is a bit OP, but it does get me there. That's the thing. That's the one thing when you're doing long travels. What else in terms of would we need to know about? Is there anything that you would like to hit on while you're here? Is there anything you would like to add?
Yes, actually, I'm writing out a few things about preventing server lag right now. Mostly
right, okay.
just courteous things. Things like refrain from unnecessary dino hoarding.
Yeah, oh yes, that is another thing. Yes, I didn't think of that one actually. I'm glad you actually mentioned that. Guys, basically what Morg means is a simple case of that with obviously getting many a tame from different animals. I know some people like to get lots of Argentavis, some like to get a lot of Sabres and Rexes, that kind of thing. We would like to, if all people could please just bear in mind, just get the animals you really need. If you're going to use it as like if you're going to sell them, try and keep it away from any major populace, as well as also away from any main base, so that it doesn't produce lag in terms of when you are entering the area in terms of render distance. Now I'm actually just coming up to the town that I've done as a test to sort of show exactly what I mean, and we would of what you would like to see in terms of how far away we would want you to build. Now my render distance is quite low, but it varies to different people. Now the town's just loaded in, and I'm just over what's called what would be Pirate Cove. Now I've got the town in view. Now the idea is what you're seeing in view right now. We would rather have nobody within render distance of this town, meaning that basically imagine a big circle around it. Do not build near it. If you can see the town clearly, like every item, do not build so close of a big base. If need be, make it away, like over there, like in a distance on a ridge that's far away, but you're not too far, but you still can't visually see the town. We would rather people that are like not producing lag for areas where it's not needed. Same as dinos, same as the same things. Obviously this is the thing, it's on the fly recording it at the same time. It's brilliant, I like it. I love it. I love it. Right. Prime example on towns that you'll probably expect. First off, oh, a bit lagged there, never mind. it's early days. Still, as you can see, this town, it has some basic buildings, has also a landing pad for animals, i.e. birds, that you could then land on so that it keeps them safe. Obviously they will vary in different sizes, but they are out in the open if you're using the external landing pad, so they could be attacked at any point. There is always going to be a building supplied that will be secure for, i.e. making your birds, your tames, be able to walk in, store them up, close the doors. Please be mindful when you're doing so. Please close the doors behind you, so that way if anything happens, the tames inside that aren't belonging to you are safe. And also, like always, make sure all are passive. We do not want them going off crazy inside. We don't want the building to be destroyed because of it, and we don't want any other people getting completely knocked off because of said dinos not being on passive. You will also find there is rafts placed around that will be unclaimed, or they will be for your use. Once you have claimed it, obviously it is then yours. It's a case of use it to your will. Obviously to get around the island, whatever, blah blah blah, you know. But you shouldn't have to worry too much to start with, because everything should be supplied in the town when we start. First thing, there will be one shop that will be for selling all said wares. So anything that you create, anything that you want to sell, that are only supplies that you're not needed, you would then go in there and you would sell it accordingly. Obviously you would then be given your pearls, which would then be able to buy other said items of depending on the needs. There would be a resource shop, and also another one for saddles and kibble. That will be it. That will be the main basic stuff you will get in the main little towns that you get. There will be a town that will be supplied with other amenities, but you will have to travel to said place in order to then get those amenities. It would be the only way to do it, so it focalizes everyone and it reduces on lag. Also, there will be building supplied that you could then safely log out, so that you're out of the nature's way. There will be defenses as well, so that way that it's giving it that extra protection. You will have things like fireplaces. You will have storage, which will be unsecured, so that means whatever you put in there, it's down to your own personal thing. Now, when in these buildings, you are basically in a safe zone. There is no PvP of any kind. There is no looting of any kind within that building of the said buildings. There will be a board stating so you will then not have any problem in not understanding. We do not want people getting knocked off and finally they've logged out and then they found all their stuff gone just within one night of them logging out. We don't want people to get like completely discombobulated and wanting to rage quit or anything like that. We don't want that. This area is considered a safe zone. This is a safe area. Once you are outside the boundaries of that town, you are then liable to then the elements. You are then liable to any attacks, obviously, but within RP reasons. Now, when it comes to attacks, tranquilizing is okay. There's no problem with that. But if it's in terms of killing a player or a sleeper or anything like that outside of the town areas, it's a big no-no. A big no-no. It's a case of you have to follow RP rules to the T when it comes to that. If you are at war with another faction or anything like that and it has been agreed that is what is happening, that is between you and them, nobody else. If any innocent is brought into it that is not wanting to be a part of it unnecessarily, and then we hear about it, we will be having words, and if it's on a serious note, you probably more than likely be permanently banned from the server. No ifs, buts, or maybes. Unless otherwise proved otherwise, i.e. via video or something else that says otherwise, that we think, okay, yep, you brought in unnecessarily and it's a case of that this person shouldn't have done what they did. We will then go and speak to that said person, find out what's going on. If we're still not convinced, I'm sorry, but that is just the way it is. You'll be shown the door. Quite as simple as that. In terms of animals as well, anything that is in the town area is also passive as anything, and also there's no attacking of animals within. Let's see. Also from this town, as you are seeing right this second, now I can see quite a bit of the cove. Now from what I can see, from quite the other end of the cove you could build. Yes, I couldn't see that being a problem, because it's obviously, it might be in render distance as such, but it's not close enough to lag out the area. We would want it so that it's actually, so it's not a big structure. If it's a small one, it's fine, but if it's too big, it's going to cause problems. And it's the same, it goes from where this town is. This is where one of the towns is going to be, so you can see generally what's going to be visible and what's not. If you're in the tree line and you're away, that's fine, it's hidden. Basically, it's going to take longer to render in because the trees are coming in first. Let's see. You could build a boat and do the same thing, but try and be mindful. Try and keep it as far away as you can, even though you're obviously near the land. But just like keep it away from render distance if you can. Just be like more common sense about it, not just willy-nilly make a base here and make it so big that it's just insane. which then that's where the dino hoarding comes into play. Make sure that you don't have more than like 20 dinos or plus whatever amount. If you're going to do that, make a separate area somewhere else. But you can see that as I've just walked along and I've just found a house already straight on the ridge that's further up the hill. Now that didn't render in for me. That is acceptable, because from here I cannot see the town. It's not rendered in. So that's acceptable to me of what it is. So it gives you a good idea of how far away to build, which is a prime example. And Igbot, well done, mate. You did that right. Bang on. That's all I can say. Bang on to that. But apart from that, I'll leave this video here for the minute, and then I will then hit on the next video, and I will then be uploading accordingly. And then obviously, if any questions, please obviously shoot it towards myself or obviously UAC, also Miss Morg. Any question at all that you're not sure, or you still have no understanding, or it's not really explained properly, please let us know, and we will then make sure that it is rectified and it is understandable. But don't hesitate to not ask. Don't feel like you can't, because we're there to also answer those questions for you. So in the meantime, UAC's out of here. We'll catch you boys and girls later and carry on RPing and happy days. Laters!